this exists. Transableism. Of course it exists. No joke. I was writing a script for an episode. Well, not an episode. For a video. Talking about an episode. For a video on my Bronco Land channel, which is the comedy channel that I do. If you want to check it out, I'll probably put a link up there or something. I don't know if I can be bothered. And I actually just wrote a joke in there, sort of referencing that this might possibly be a thing. Only for later on to discover, by mere chance of just seeing a video, that this is a thing, and it's been around for quite a long time. Because when I went to look at like more recent articles about it and stuff, I was finding stuff from 2011. I was like, oh my goodness. It does make me think that like the age of outrage, its birth, you know, was kind of like its inception kind of was around 2011. It's crazy to think that for this long it's been going on. So I found one article that was quite recent, but it mainly referenced, it was an article from 2019, but it mainly referenced this article on the Mail Online from 2017. So I thought, well, what better way to dive into this world of lunacy than to use this article, you know, and you know the Daily Mail are going to have a very balanced and thoughtful view on it. So why not? So what is transableism? Well, it's exactly what you think it is. That's right. It's people who are able-bodied, who believe that inside they feel like they are disabled. They are a disabled person inside the body of an abled person. And therefore they will correct their bodies in order to match how they feel. Very much like the South Park episode when I can't remember, it's Carl's dad, I can't remember his name, says, you know, he feels like a dolphin and becomes a dolphin. We're already there, and we've been there for quite a while, it turns out. So it says here, I live like a disabled person even though I'm physically healthy, and now want a surgeon to cut my spinal cord. You may have already read that whilst I was talking anyway, but you know, give your reaction right now. That's what I'd ask for you to do. Rare condition has made woman, 58, disown her legs. Rare condition. How rare, really, when you think about it. Because transracialism is around the corner. I think it already may exist in a trolling way, possibly. I mean, we got Rachel Dolezal, so, you know, we've already had our first major case of it. A Cambridge University educated research scientist is so desperate to live the life of a wheelchair-bound person, she's prepared to pay a doctor to help her become, should probably say to help her become, you know, after all these years he still hasn't corrected it, and to help her become disabled. And there she is. See all this? See all this on her legs and stuff? She doesn't need it. She doesn't actually need that. She's using a wheelchair that would be needed by someone who needs a wheelchair, but she's using a wheelchair. Leg braces that would be needed by someone who needs leg braces. She doesn't need them, but she has them. Now think about that for a second. Okay? Since childhood, Chloe Jennings White has made several attempts at injuring herself so she can finally climb into her own wheelchair. In 2010, she even found a doctor overseas willing to help her become disabled by cutting her sciatic and femoral nerves. You know, that makes me feel so weird. But she could not afford the £16,000 costs. Imagine that you're going to pay £16,000 to reverse the thing that people are trying to make happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Think about Christopher Reeve and all the stem cell research he was getting into to walk again. This is the correct reaction. Okay. I might never be able to afford it, but I know Truly and deeply, I won't regret it if I ever can, she said, referring to the doctor who might be able to help her become disabled. Chloe, 58, from Salt Lake City, Utah, suffers from a rare condition called body integrity identity disorder. That's what it's called. Or BIID, body integrity identity disorder. There's a name for it. Sufferers do not accept one of their own limb or limbs and seek to amputate them or become paraplegic. And look, they even got a video there where she's being pushed around by a man in a wheelchair when she can walk. Can you? This is like that character in Little Britain who was in a wheelchair but could actually walk. You know, that was the joke of it. No, but this is real. Like there's a woman getting people to push her around in a wheelchair because she doesn't want to walk. As in, she actually doesn't want to walk. It's like making a joke going, "Oh, what, you're too lazy to walk?" And like, yeah, I am actually. There's nothing wrong with me, except inside here. Some experts believe it is caused by a neurological fault in which the brain's mapping system cannot see a certain body part. Now that makes it a bit more interesting. But the fact is, she can still walk, so it's a mental illness, okay? And it should be treated as such. Cambridge graduate believes both of her legs do not belong to her and dreams of being paralysed from the waist down. Something in my brain tells me my legs are not supposed to work, she said. Having any sensation in them just feels wrong. Right, that's a mental disorder. Is a disorder. For years she bandaged herself secretly, but now lives openly with her condition despite feeling intolerance, insults and sometimes online threats. Chloe first realised she was different at the age of 4 after visiting her Aunt Olive, who was using leg braces after a bike accident. I wanted them too, she said. I wondered why I wasn't born needing them and felt something was wrong with me because I didn't have them. At the age of 9, Chloe even took action and pedalled her bike off a 4-foot-high acting stage on Hampstead Heath, North London, landing on her neck. You have to do a bit better than that. You need to jump off a 10-story car park, don't you? I only wanted to stop my legs working, but could have broken my neck or died, she added. From then on, Chloe lived out her fantasy in secret, pretending to be disabled when alone, playing risky sports and climbing trees in hope of hurting her legs. Now, as an adult, Chloe enjoys the excitement of downhill skiing and the possibility she might fall and suffer serious leg fractures. Come on, man! Why are we entertaining this? Where's the where's the psychiatry? Where's the help for this woman? Like, well, why are we entertaining this in an article when she needs to be, assessed, treated here? Not have a spinal cord cut for 16 grand. I ski extremely fast and aim for the most dangerous runs, she said. Doing any activity that brings a chance of me becoming paraplegic gives me a sense of relief from the anxiety caused by the BIID. My friends and family can get a little worried about me skiing, as they know I ski very aggressively, and they know that in the back of my mind I actually want to get paralysed. So why the fuck are they letting you do it, man? Why are you letting her do it? Why are you letting her ski? Why? She should be banned from every ski resort. Chloe had a real skiing accident 7 years ago, which left her with a minor back injury and reason to get leg braces. Do you know what I mean? You've had people like on the NHS saying we will not treat certain people if they've been. Remember all the rhetoric about if you're drinking too much and, George Best getting 20 new livers and stuff like that. People who won't take responsibility, and the NHS is saying you're wasting our resources because you won't give up smoking, you won't give up drinking, you won't do the things we're saying you should do, and you're constantly coming in for all these treatments which cost the taxpayer a hell of a lot of money because you won't take responsibility. And yet you've got a woman who's deliberately out there trying to fucking injure herself so she can fulfill her dream of being disabled, and you're entertaining this? Is someone entertaining this? She researched the braces online and came across BIID for the first time. She discovered that there were others like her. It was a huge relief, she said. I wasn't a freak. There were hundreds of others like me. No one's a freak if they have a mental disorder, okay? Yeah, but it's not normal, okay? Let's not ever normalize this. We shouldn't normalise anorexia. We shouldn't normalise obesity. We shouldn't normalise schizophrenia. We should accept it and be tolerant of it. You know what I'm saying? We should be like, okay. We should never normalise it because it ain't normal. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't ever normalise unnormal behaviour. Alright? It's good to be a freak. She took part in BIID research study with psychiatrist Michael First from New York, who diagnosed her in spring 2008 and recommended she use a wheelchair. You did you? At first she used the chair in private, but eventually gained the courage to reveal her secret to friends and work colleagues. I mean, that's got to be quite the moment, hasn't it? The chair gives me psychological relief instead of physical, she said. I know it can be difficult for people without BIID to understand, but it's what we feel. In 2009, she was involved in a serious 75-mile-per-hour car crash and suffered pre-concussion amnesia and cannot remember the 15 minutes before the impact. It was not a deliberate act, according to police reports, but she worries she might have subconsciously wanted it to happen. Now, I think Columbo would have something different to say about that than you. I mean, I can't say nothing. We don't know. Well, it was 15 minutes before. The woman deliberately goes skiing to try and put herself in a wheelchair, and then she has a 75-mile-per-hour car crash. Do you think she should be allowed to drive when she has this urge to damage herself? I mean, now, they take licenses of old people because, they can't see properly no more and their reactions are slow. You haven't got old people deliberately driving at 70 miles, Now, Chloe spends most of her time in a wheelchair, but has to get out for various household tasks and walk down the steps to her car. I can't afford to convert my home for disabled access, so I just use the chair as much as I can, she said. She fantasizes about having a car crash. She's had one! Without hurting anyone else, just so she can damage her own legs. She fantasizes about it. She had one. The police say, well, no, we don't think that. Anytime when I'm driving, I sort of conjure up accident scenarios in my mind where I will become paraplegic, she admitted. Psychiatrist Dr. Mark Mallon, who treats Chloe, said the question I often ask is it better to have somebody pretending to use a wheelchair or to commit suicide? Well, obviously it's better to be pretending to use a wheelchair. But can we not, delve a bit deeper and try and treat this sort of disorder where you haven't got someone? I mean, yeah, that's fine, but, the whole skiing thing and the car crash fantasies? Come on, man. If a schizophrenic comes to you and says, I'm just fantasizing about murdering motherfuckers. Oh, where? At the ice rink. And they're just at the ice rink every day. It's like, why are they at the... Oh, he's at the ice rink again. Well, shall I be concerned about his fantasies of killing people on ice? No, it's fine, I'm sure. One possibility could be to do some sort of nerve blocking so that the limb could not actually be used for a period of time, to let the patient test the reality of being physically disabled temporarily. Not on no one's pay, man. Not on no one's tax money. No. It would give BIID sufferers a chance to change their minds if they wanted to. Chloe believes it is important to raise awareness about the condition and now writes for the BIID support group Transabled. It brings a whole new perspective into everything, doesn't it? About mental disorders, about the times we're living in, where we're sort of entertaining all kinds of weird possibilities and how people feel. And it's like, where does this path lead down? I don't know. Transracialism is on the horizon, man. Because this is this is a thing. And I've seen ones about people, making themselves blind and stuff like that. And the fact that they do seem to sort of the pandering to it, I don't know, but the fact that she says these things about, the car crashes, and she has the car crash, and she's always skiing to try and hurt herself. But then, people who kill themselves will kill themselves. And then you get the cry for help scenarios, you know what I'm saying? Cry for help. People who take 10 paracetamol. People who cut themselves across there instead of down there. Across there, no, down there, death. These kind of things. With all her fantasies and the ripe old age of 58, still hasn't managed to make herself paraplegic. You got to think, well, how serious are you about your dreams of being paraplegic? Are you really down from day one on this? How much do you need to entertain fantasies? So, how much do we need to entertain fantasy? To indulge in someone else's fantasy. Disorders and so forth, fine. But the fact is, it's a disorder, and how you're living in a fantasy world in your own head. Of, how much are we supposed to pander to all this kind of thing? Do you know what I'm saying? How many resources are they allowed to take for them to fulfill this fantasy land? These are the questions that need to be asked of so many different people, because they've sort of changed the goalposts of where they're just letting all kinds of people do all kinds of things because it suits them and they don't want people to become upset. Whereas there needs to be better treatment in here before we start going down the path of cutting people's spinal cords or temporarily paralyzing someone to see how it feels. We can't. It's not what the future's supposed to be. There's robots, flying cars, the end of discrimination, like in Star Trek. Not this. No.